Hey guys, today I plan to make you dumb no more by talking about what an entry fragger is and what the role encompasses. So in modern day Counter-Strike, there's not really defined roles, especially at pro play. While you may have defined oppers such as Guardian, Simple, or Device, often you're going to be seeing players play other roles besides just those select few. For example, an entry fragger might also be doing a supportive role or may have to take the lurking role as well, and vice versa. You're not going to have a dedicated support player. So let's go a little bit back and talk about entry fraggers. All throughout Counter-Strike's history, we've had a lot of highly decorated entry fraggers, and here's to name a few. At the start of Counter-Strike, you had players such as Fragger or Bialy. Fragger and Bialy were great entry fraggers, both of which are major winners and multiple major finalists and semifinalists as well. You can look back at their earlier videos, especially for Fragger at the start of 2012, 2013, and 2014 to see how he played. Same thing for Bialy for 2014, 15, and 16. If we're going to take a few other entry fraggers, however, let's look towards one of my favorite, Apex, and the other, Freakazoid. Now the reason why I highlight these two is because they really have this soldier mindset of being an entry fragger and will do anything for their team above all else. And that's the key thing that you're going to need when you're being an entry fragger, is this stubbornness to run through anything or do anything your in-game leader says for the sake of the team. Because often in order to take a site, what you're going to notice is a lot of players play too hesitant. They're not going to want to push out, they're going to want to delay, and it's often going to cause your team to lose because a backstab might happen. So what you're going to need is a really good entry fragger to back this up. And that's why I highlight Apex and Freakazoid. For Cloud9's summer 2015 run, Freakazoid was one of the best players in terms of just rushing out there no matter what. This may have caused his stats to suffer, but it gave Cloud9 an extra spice to their gameplay that they otherwise would not have had, and they were able to have a miracle run for an NA team back in 2015, making quite a few finals. But for Apex, he's a decorated player with a major under his belt and multiple tournament wins, staying relevant nowadays, starting off his career going through major different lineups such as Titan or Envious, and currently in Vitality for the early 2020 period, still being an in-game leader and an entry fragger, even though he just now took up the in-game leader position. So what does it mean exactly then to be an entry fragger? What are the tool sets you're going to need? Well, first off, you're going to need to know how to stutter step, or another way to call it too is strafe. What you need to be able to do is be able to take large swaths of ground for your team, even if it means you might be by yourself, to enable your other teammates on another part of the map or ones that are lagging behind to get kills. So for example, you're on Cat and you're taking quick peeks and you notice nothing. Well, what you should do from this position is most players might wait and delay to see if anyone might come out, and then they might go after they get a pick. However, this might not be time savvy, because what you're doing is you're giving the enemy team time to delay. Or perhaps they might wait there even though a teammate's calling push now, and then because they didn't push at that moment, the enemy team might throw a well-timed nade, a Molotov to delay it, and then a rotate or a backstab can happen. So what you'll need to do is strafe across, holding down A, clearing out every single angle. If someone comes up, let go of A, tap D at the exact same time, you have complete accuracy. But let's assume in this situation they throw a smoke, or maybe they even throw a molly. Someone's holding from ramp position and they decide, okay, I hear that there might be one cat, or they're suspecting it, and they throw a smoke off. As an entry fragger, you have to listen to your in-game leader or know when the opportunity is right if you're in a punk game to take action in this regard. So from here, if you're holding close, push through the smoke, even if you might die. As soon as you come out, you might immediately die. But if you're calling out that you're making this push and you have a teammate willing to trade behind you, then immediately when you die, your teammate can come out, and if you give good callouts, he can make the trade, and then your team is still able to successfully take the site and potentially even win the round. So not only do you need to have at least a basic understanding of how to push out, such as strafing when taking large swaths of ground, but also have to have the mindset to be able to take that push, to go through a smoke or to go through a molly, and to not hesitate so that way your team can get the win even if you die out. By the end of the game, you might be ending up with only 10, maybe 15 kills. You might not be that top fragger with 25 or 30, but you would have played a key role in winning the rounds on T side for your team. Now, before we go into the mindset again, which is a big highlight of it, let's talk about one more quick tip that you should know as a entry fragger. Besides just jiggle peeking or strafing around corners and doing wide peeks, one thing you might want to do is often jump around corners at any opportunity present, because what it's going to do is if an enemy is trained on the corner is he's going to have to adjust for that jump, and sure, again, he might get that kill, but as his aim's adjusting, your teammate can appear from another position and get that trade frag. So for example, if I'm holding corner, I'm at head level and I jump around it, I'm going to have to flick my crosshair up or even diagonally to try to get that kill and then reset back towards the corner where your teammate is able to appear and get that quick trade. Often all it's doing is giving you a chance to get your teammates more kills. You're enabling your team to get the trade frag and able to win the round. So in positions where the angles are quite too tight and you can't do large sweeps, try jumping around it. Areas I see this to be useful in is if I'm pushing towards cat, or if I know I have a teammate close long, for example, we flash him out long and he gets towards garbage, what I might do is I might come towards the corner on door and jump around the corner, and maybe I get lagged and then a follow-up kill happens to me, but that'll give my teammate time to push forward instead of me just straight coming up. You might also see this when you're playing towards lower and all you want to do is just jump down towards it, in which case you can come around here and jump, maybe peek towards cat and peek every little corner, or you can jump right across doors. Any of these scenarios or others that you can find will be greatly beneficial when you're being an entry fragger, just because again, it'll make them reset their aim. So one more time going back, I want to talk about mindset again, because it is one of the most crucial elements of being an entry fragger. And that is, you have to be willing to die for your team and to enable them in some way, shape, or form. And this isn't to say on CT side, right? But this is purely on T side. Take the risk to push out and do what you need to do for your team, because otherwise you're not going to have someone taking ground and the game becomes a lot harder. It becomes a lot more skill based and pick based, and who's going to make more of a mistake than the other. But if you have that entry fragger who's willing to tank his score, and again, I'm not saying this in terms of being 0 and 25 and that's justified, but a 15 and 25 score line, while it is still bad, is better to have because you're able to win more rounds as long as the teammate's following up on you, than not to have that at all and everyone's playing passive. So that mindset of going out there first through the thick of it, even if a smoke happens and you only have 20 seconds left, committing behind that is what's going to help win your team the rounds, instead of delaying for the smoke and only having 7 seconds left and planting bomb down to the wire and hoping and praying that someone's not hiding, let's say, Goose, or on Inferno B site hiding Closet, waiting to stop the bomb from being planted. For this pro example, we're going to be looking at Freakazoid, because I feel like he displays what a mindset should be for an entry fragger the best. So for this, I have 2 different clips to show. First off is him executing the entry fragger role, even though he's not getting kills or getting killed, but in terms of just gaining map control in some way, shape, and form by himself to help secure the round down the road. So starting off, this is Cloud9 versus Mousepaz in one of the first ESL ESEA Pro League seasons on Inferno. And what we're going to see is that Freakazoid starts off in spawn, doing whatever he wants to do, and he's most likely got the call that he needs to be taking banana control quick. So even though Mousepaz might be smoking off deep banana, he immediately flashes through it, ignores any mollies that comes down, and holds on tree position for his teammates to make a different type of action. What you see for the second clip is Freakazoid now, he's going to die and not get a kill, but his teammates are able to trade off of it and they're able to get the win. So he's rushing straight towards mid and he's immediately going to jump out to the center, able to take any crosshairs towards him, and even though he dies, Skadoodle immediately gets a trade kill, followed by Shroud getting the second kill for the enemy that pushed through CT. These 2 clips side by side really show the mindset you should have, is often you're playing aggressive just to take map control or to set up your team for success. For today's quick nade tip, this one's pretty situational, but is one that you can often use. With a new Dust 2 and them opening up the top side of tunnels, all you have to do as you're running in towards tunnel is go right in between on this pillar, right in the center, look up towards the rafters, and aim generally in this location between the two planks that are going across. Aim about from the top portion to the bottom portion, or depending how you're looking at it, about a quarter of the way up, and just throw it. And what this will do is it will nade towards the box on site, smoking off back box, smoking close double stack box, which will help your teammates be able to push out and make the CT play a more uncomfortable position.